With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. So how can you get started using Globus? Anyone can use Globus right now for free to transfer files between Globus-enabled systems. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. And if the data is sensitive, no problem. Globus can be used to manage protected data. With Globus, you can easily share your data without having to move it or copy it. With Globus, subscribers can easily move and share. And if you have any more questions about Globus, visit Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many thousands face the same challenges every day and solve them with Globus. So what's Globus? So what's Globus? It's a secure, reliable service. With the Globus platform, you can easily incorporate robust capabilities. More than 150,000 registered users rely on Globus. More than 150,000 registered users.
Yo. 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 What up, Igloo? You'll have to forgive me. My voice is a little meh. Got a cold or something. Yay! So you might have to speak to my manager. All right, so give you an idea how the rest of the week is looking. Tomorrow, we got a long shift, extended shift. Stream. We got an extended stream. I'll be live at my normal time of 5 o'clock. But the interview with Endless Cemetery, regarding AI art, Endless does 3D printing and also creates music. It won't start until like around 7. So it'll be at least 3 hours, could be 3.5, 4 hours. We'll find out. We shall find out. I'm also in the process of booking another conversation for either Thursday or Friday. And this will be with someone who used AI to write a portion of their essay about AI writing, right? And its relation to language and things of that nature. So that should be very interesting as well. Not sure what day yet. Getting that worked out. Yeah. And I apologize if occasionally I get marbles in my mouth, but I am mainlining cough drops at the moment. So yeah, I got a couple of videos to look at about ChatGPT. I have a ChatGPT account, and there's also the AI that allows you to. What up, Magic City? That allows you to create the music that like was featured at the beginning of the episode. I might get into using that today. I might get into using that on either Thursday or Friday if to offset. I might use it tomorrow because I got 2 hours to provide you with content prior to talking with Endless. So who knows? That's the fun, right? I mean, rarely does a streamer tell you what they're going to stream, unless they're having a guest on or something. They might tell you in advance. Generally, they just come on and provide you with the content that they located or that was submitted by their community. And it's interesting, like the streamer community relationship, to varying degrees, right? Like, I assume, I'm not aware of any, but I'm allowing for the possibility of streamers who just they do their own content. They take nothing from the audience other than, you know, like communicating with chat, but not taking any submissions or anything else like that. All the way to the other end where you see a streamer who like doesn't go and find anything. Their community is large enough and has particular kinds of tastes or whatever that this stream functions almost entirely off what is generated by the community. And there's advantages in both directions, right? Like, not only for the streamer, like on the one end, they get to control what they're doing. On the other end, they can just concentrate on their presentation, and they don't have to worry about finding the content that they're going to watch. Is a hive mind an AI? Stick a pin in that. We'll get to that in just a second. But there's also the downfalls. Is like, you know, if you're relying on your community to generate content, eventually, you know, they like when I see that, you know, it's like, hey, if you want me to react to something, put it in the thing. And that's your whole bit. I take you down a tier, not in the quality. I'm not judging you, but just I'm not actively going to consume your content if I don't feel like, you know, you are in fact putting in the effort, right? Because there's just too many. The arena is target rich, so like I like a nice balance. I like a streamer who's got some ideas on what they want to do, but also like if you provide stuff, you know, will incorporate it into their stream. Because I think that, you know, the community likes it. Let's define things, shall we? Magic City coming in hot. I'm dying. So dying. Let's find a hive mind. I think we want number one, the collective mental activity expressed in the complex coordinated behavior of a colony of social insects, regarded as comparable to a single mind controlling the behavior of an individual organism. I'm going to go with no. That like a series of AIs functioning together in like a neural network or something in that nature could behave as a hive mind, but that an individual AI on its own would not be a hive mind, and that a hive mind would not be an AI because it's not artificial, right? The social insects or a bunch of people on the internet, we are individuals with a certain amount of autonomy. And we are biological. We are not artificial. So yeah. I'm going to go with a hive mind is not an AI. Feel free to judge me. Excuse me. Alrighty. I think we're going to open with a video to get familiar with. I want to do this one. We're going to talk about consciousness. Nah, I should say that for tomorrow. I should stay focused. We're going to watch this about a guy who creates a video game using ChatGPT. Hey, what up, demons? It's your boy.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Ben Bonk, and ChatGPT is taking over the world. Seriously, it feels like I stumble across it somehow wherever I go. And if for some reason you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's basically an AI chatbot that can seemingly answer any question you throw at it. And it can even write recipes for you, or give you a workout plan, or write you a full-blown essay. In short, it's absolutely mind-boggling what it can do. But something that really caught my eye with it was how it has the ability to write code. Even C# code that I can use in my game engine of choice, Unity. So I wanted to put this bot to the limit and see if it could actually create an entire video game using only code written by ChatGPT, and let's just say the results shocked me. To start off, let's set some ground rules. First, I can only use code written by ChatGPT, so no code written by me at all. Although I will allow myself to make some small tweaks here and there, just to speed up the process a bit. And secondly, I only have 3 hours to make this game because I have other projects that I want to focus on, and I really just want to see if something like this is even possible in the first place. So with that said, I created a new Unity project and started drafting out some ideas for a simple game. At least one simple enough that I think an AI could code. Eventually, I settled with this game idea where the player would be this cube with a weapon, and they could shoot out projectiles by clicking the mouse. However, once shooting, the player will be massively knocked back, and this would be the only way the player can move in the game, so the shooting would serve as a bit of a dual-purpose mechanic. The player would then have to kill as many enemies as possible to increase their score, and if they ran into an enemy themselves, it would be game over. With this idea in mind, instead of getting straight into writing some code myself, I hopped into ChatGPT, which felt really weird. To start off, we needed a player script, so I asked ChatGPT to write me one, which would allow for the player to take damage, and if they ran out of health, the game would stop. In a moment of truth, I hit enter, and after a few seconds, the chatbot started spewing out this. Now, if you know the Unity game engine at all, you'll notice this code looks a little strange. And this is because instead of writing the code in C#, Unity's main programming language, ChatGPT decided to write this script in Python, which really caught me off guard. It even addressed this in a paragraph below the code, explaining how the code was written in Python.
And this is an interesting thing, again, from the idea of access, right? Like, I could learn to code, and code something, or I could have the AI create me the code and be able to not only not have to take the time to learn to code, right? Which is both, a function of the amount of time you have available in your life, and also there's a thing called opportunity costs, where it is acting now superior to acting later. You might be able to act later better, but you're going to miss out on anything that occurs between this point and that point. Like, I overpaid for my streaming PC. I was able to get it on monthly payments, and therefore I ended up overpaying for it. But had I had to wait on getting it, I would have had to wait much longer before I started streaming. And there's always the possibility that as you delay things, that you might not actually start doing them, right? So that's one of the ways that opportunity costs exist in your everyday life. Now, obviously, if there was something wrong with the code created by ChatGPT, I wouldn't be able to fix it. I wouldn't be able to figure out what isn't working properly, and why I'm having a problem. So at this point in time, we're still at the point where I would need someone who knew code at least as a resource in order to help me figure out what the problem was, and like that.
Using the Unity Engine API. But from what I can tell, Unity just doesn't support Python, so I had to give this another go, but still this interaction was quite unexpected and interesting. I modified my request to include the keyword C#, and just like that, I had working code that I could use in my game. I mean, seriously, how cool is that? It even writes a paragraph or two in detail about what the code does and how to implement it. Now, this is cool and all, but I actually noticed something troubling. This code was written for a 3D Unity game by using the onCollisionEnter function instead of the onCollisionEnter 2D function. So I decided to put the bot to the test and told it to convert the code to work with 2D projects. And boom, it gave me a thorough explanation on how to convert the code to work with 2D projects and send the changes back to me. Now, this code was perfectly usable, but I noticed something a little interesting. In this line right here, the code checks if an object it collided with has the tag of an enemy using string comparison. And if you know a bit about comparing object tags in Unity, you may know that this is typically not the best practice out there, and it's more optimal to use a function called compareTag. So I wanted to...
Okay. Now, if you don't understand what the hell he's talking about, I don't understand what the hell he's talking about. So as a function of coding and understanding coding, he's using language that I don't understand. But, as always, we have Google, so I could find out what he was talking about. And we have the ChatGPT itself that I could ask what he was talking about. It might provide me with, a different kind of answer. I have an account with ChatGPT. I've done absolutely nothing with it. It's going to be a fresh experience all the way around. And so if you don't understand what he's talking about, just kind of let it wash over you, and we'll just, pick up what we do understand. Because I'm with you. I don't understand a lot of terminology and jargon around coding.
Chatbot to the test again and ask if it can optimize the code any further. And it hit me back with this. Essentially, all it did was add an unused rigid body reference to the script. Now, I don't know too much about optimization in Unity, but to me, it looks like this code does nothing at all. But please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. The chatbot also recommended that I use isChematic on this rigid body to stop the game, which is an optimization, I guess, but I wanted the whole game to be frozen when the player dies, not just the player themselves, so I kinda just ignored this. Anyways, I eventually copied the unoptimized code and dropped it into a new player script in Unity. And look, even my IDE is disgusted by this string comparison, so I just manually fixed it. I then spent a few minutes setting up the player object and headed back into ChatGPT. Now I needed a weapon script that would be able to shoot projectiles and also add knockback to the player. One question later, and boom, we had a script. But I noticed that I forgot to specify that the code should be for a 2D project, and I wasn't clear enough with who the recoil should be added to, so with a modification request later, we now had a weapon script for the game. Well, almost. Something interesting I found was that the bot didn't fully convert the code to work with 2D. I mean, it did here, but not here, so that was kind of interesting. Also, can we just take a minute to recognize that this code right here is, at least in my opinion, good, clean, readable code. It may be a little unoptimized with this git component con update, but I mean, if you had no experience with programming at all, you could still understand exactly what this code does, thanks to all the extensive documentation on practically every line. So I just find that truly amazing, and there's always a paragraph or two below explaining exactly how the code works. Anyways, I started setting up this weapon in game, and just like that, the player could now shoot projectiles and be knocked back at the same time. But I noticed that this weapon wouldn't rotate towards the player's mouse position, so I asked ChatGPT to modify it, and upon putting this into the game, it didn't quite work. Again, I realized I forgot to specify that I was working in a 2D environment, and now the code still didn't work. So I asked ChatGPT again to modify the code to only rotate the weapon on the Z axis. And now it was just really glitchy for some reason, so I asked ChatGPT, like, dude, why is this code so glitchy? And my man responded with some in-depth paragraph about vector3.signedAngle, which is something that I've never seen before in my 4 years of working with Unity, and it's definitely not how I would go about making this sort of rotation system. But surely after this long-winded explanation, the code would work, right? Nope, it was still glitching out. Eventually, I realized that the code was written to only work with 3D games, again, even though I specified that I was working in a 2D environment before. Though I guess the chatbot just forgot about that part. Anyways, now we had things working, finally, and it was time to move on to making a projectile script. I asked away and the bot delivered this script. I also noticed that I actually forgot to specify in my initial request that I was making this a projectile script, but somehow the bot just guessed that this was what I was making and named the script accordingly. I mean, seriously, fascinating stuff. But moving on, I asked for some modifications to destroy the projectile after a set period of time if it doesn't collide with anything, and destroyed the projectile if it collided with an object with the ground tag. This code worked, but I noticed that again, it didn't use compare tag, so I requested it to use it, and yeah, it worked and changed the code. So I fiddled around a bit, and now the projectiles would destroy on hitting terrain or an enemy object. But we still need a way for the enemies to take damage, so I asked ChatGPT to write me an enemy script that could take damage, and after some more tinkering, the player could now kill enemies. And speaking of these enemies, we still needed a way for them to spawn. And I decided to put ChatGPT to the test. Not only did I want an enemy spawner, but I also wanted to spawn these enemies in a random position inside of a certain bounds, while increasing the spawn rate over time. And to my surprise again, it delivered perfectly. Except this time, the bot kind of froze towards the end and wouldn't let me send another message. So I copied this code, but before testing it, I was a bit annoyed how it handled the spawning bounds system, so I copied this script and requested it update the script to use a box collider to visualize these spawn bounds. And again, the bot delivered, and I could now set this box collider, and I also requested it to add a few checks so that enemies couldn't spawn on top of each other, the player, or terrain. And now we finally had a functioning enemy spawn system. But as you can see, the player could kind of fling himself off the map. So to fix this, I requested ChatGPT to make a smooth camera follow system, and you get the deal by now. It worked, and it worked pretty well too. Also, shout out to ChatGPT for being so wholesome. Anyways, next on the agenda, I wanted to make a score manager so the player could score points when killing an enemy. It produced this, and I was kind of impressed by how the bot made a separate function for updating the score text, if I ever needed to use that function elsewhere. Once importing it, I asked exactly how I'd go about updating the score from another script, and yeah, it told me exactly how I could do so. I also pretended to not know how to make UI, and it guided me through the process. Though my text was kind of blurry, so I asked it why it's blurry, and it told me to change the setting, though I couldn't actually find the setting, so I asked where that setting was, and yeah, I just kind of gave up and resorted to using TextMesh Pro. After that, I just started setting up the room for the game, and now things were really starting to come together. One of the final main things I needed to do to wrap up the game loop was to get the enemies to move towards the player. ChatGPT told me to try using NavMesh to create a pathfinding system for these enemies. I tried for quite a while, but I've never used Unity's NavMesh system before, and I was really struggling to figure it out, even after asking ChatGPT for some assistance. So I just had the bot give me a less optimal non-pathfinding solution. But now, the game was really starting to come to a close. All I needed was a way to restart the game, and you know the drill by now. With that done, I considered ending development right there, but I figured I might as well try to add a bit of audio. I asked ChatGPT to make me a shoot sound effect, and yeah, looks like that won't be happening. So instead, I asked for some resources to get 8-bit sound effects, and it delivered. I searched through freesound.org and found an effect I like. I also asked for a place to find royalty-free music, and I found some on opengameart.org. Now we had to set these sounds up in game, so I got the bot to make me an audio manager, and yeah, now the game had audio. And now for the final change, I asked the bot to tweak the weapon script so the player could hold down the mouse button. And ChatGPT kind of froze before finishing the code, but still I tried copying it and it sort of worked, but there was no shot cooldown. So I was like, yo, what's going on here, ChatGPT? And it was like, I don't know, sorry man. So I was like, the shot timer doesn't get reset. And this time it actually finished the code it couldn't before. Turns out all I needed to add was this one line, so I found that kind of interesting. Anyways, I felt happy with the game by this point, so I exported it, uploaded it to itch.io, and yeah, the link is in the description if you want to play it. Overall, I think ChatGPT is actually insane. I wasn't sure if ChatGPT would be able to actually complete this challenge, but it did, and seemingly with ease. I undoubtedly think AI like this will revolutionize game dev a ton over the coming years. And it's really interesting to see how it approaches programming challenges, as many times it approaches things in a much different manner than I personally would. In conclusion, there's lots to learn, and I'm excited to see how AI like this evolves in the future. But before I go, let's see what ChatGPT thinks about my game. Oh, okay then.
This video is entirely
Easy. So I hope you found that interesting. It's like, one thing I noticed as he was going through his process was like the way his language and his intonation were, to me, I was picking up that, like, you know, he would ask the ChatGPT for a thing and it would give him something other than what he wanted, but then when he asked better, it gave him what he wanted. Which is a function of him, it's not a function of the AI, right? But by the end of the video, he acknowledged that, which is cool. You know, it was like, that was an important aspect to it. So yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in messing around with this. One of the things that I want to do is, because I have the AI music software, is to see if I can get ChatGPT to explain to me how I should use the other AI. But that is down the road. It's not what I want to start off with. Oh, real quick. I forgot. If you recall from the other day, I said that there was an article about people putting AI into their visuals and art, and trying to mess with Midjourney and like that. And Be Weird. Let me shout out Be Weird. Be Weird actually talked about this exact article, so that was cool. So you have the ArtStation, a platform that allows game, film, media, and entertainment artists to connect and showcase their portfolios, has been flooded with the same image posted over and over again by different users. A large red no sign covering the word AI, paired with the caption, "No to AI generated images." And because of these, when the one moment, please. Because of the AI, the way the AI scrapes, it's not showing me examples of the art, but there were examples, and it is possible that the examples that I saw were generated by an artist as opposed to being generated by the AI scraping this data. And I mean, here, we start to get into it. It's like, should AI art be labeled differently than other digital art? Like, for a given value, most art that is not digital is easy to discern from art that is digital, right? So we do have categories of art, right? Is labeling it AI generated an accuracy, or is it a pejorative? Right? Is it context? I would tend to lean towards it being context, right? Like learning more about a particular artist, it teaches you about their art and why they were doing what they were doing, and so on and so forth. If you're using AI, then that would follow. But by the same token, a digital artist does not tend to say or maybe they do. Maybe like, let me allow for the fact that I could be wrong. And if you're a digital artist, feel free to correct me. But like, what programs that they use? You know, they might somewhere on their page or whatever, or they might not. I haven't seen that being a prevalent thing, but again, it could be my my sample size is problematic. And if you hear boss music, got him. Yes, my tribal chief. And if you're not following the paradigm shift, what are you even doing with your life? So yeah, like is like it is important. You'll have to talk to my
Globus is
manager.
Giga Chad. True. Big, beautiful beard.
Carpe Pax has subscribed to Globus.
Hey, thank you for the gifty sub, and I'm glad Carpe got it because I got a gifty in his stream, so paying it back. Like is like if I know that people who play guitar have strong opinions on what guitars they play, but do they have the same opinions on what guitars they listen to? Right? Like, I only like bands that play a Fender is nothing I've ever heard before, but it could be a thing, right? Like, but an artist, a musician doesn't usually come out and talk about his guitar on every song. They just play the song. And then you can find that information somewhere else. It seems like the idea of putting AI in front of the art could be being used as a pejorative to, like, you know, add an additional value. But I don't know. It's the ugly question. It's a messy question. But yeah. So here we go. What do we want to ask ChatGPT for our very first question? Let's just say hi. And then there's feedback. That's cool. This was the ideal answer. Now, I'm probably not going to do this on every one. I'm just seeing what the thing does. All right, fuck it. Let's see what the AI knows. How do I generate a song with AIVA? AIVA, Artificial Intelligence Virtual Artist, is a company that provides a platform for creating original music using artificial intelligence. Here are the steps you can follow to generate a song with AIVA. Go to the AIVA website, sign up for an account. If you have an account, you can start creating a new project by clicking the Create button. Select the type of project you want to create. Film score, pop song, jazz piece. Choose a genre, style, mood. Enter the lyrics for your song if you have any. Select the instruments you want to include in the song. Click on the Generate button to start the process. Once the song is generated, you can listen to it, make changes and adjustment. When you're happy, you can download it or share it with others. Okay. let's do let's try Write Me Lyrics 90s EDM about Globus the Elder. So, verse 1, Globus the Elder, he's the man we all admire. He's got the moves and the style that sets the world afire. He's been around for centuries and still going strong. His music's timeless, and it's always on the list of top songs. The pacing of the lyrics could be with how I'm reading them, or it could just be like, I feel like it's converting from like another language to English. Globus the Elder, he's the one we can't forget. He's the king of the dance floor. He's not done yet. He's a legend in the scene, and he's here to stay. Globus the Elder, he's the one who knows the way. Globus the Elder, he's got a voice of gold. His beats are always fresh, and they never get old. He's a master of the craft, and he knows just what to do. When he's on stage, the crowd just can't get enough of him. It's true. And then the bridge, another chorus. Bridge, he's been through it all and he's still standing tall. He's a pioneer in the industry and he's got it all. He's a force to be reckoned with. He's not slowing down. Globus the Elder, he's the one we all look up to now. Are you flirting with me? All right. Move Chatterino, because Chatterino's always in the way. All right, back to ChatGPT. Now, okay. So we go here, we hit the create button. My Alt-Tab doesn't work the way that I want it to. Create composition. Search for generation profile. Well, we want EDM. Because we can see what we get here. Alright, we'll see what's up with this. Key signature, duration, number of composition. Can I edit this? Oh, yeah. So let's hit, we can only go up to 3 minutes for some reason. Now see, here I'm out of my depth, right? So let's see if chat can help me. ChatGPT, not you, chat. What was that called? I'm going to go ahead and pop this out to make my life easier. Key signature. What's a good key signature for 90s EDM? All right, it's telling me what a key signature is. A set of symbols placed at the beginning. Show the key in which the piece is written. The key of a piece of music determines the scale and the chord progression that will be used, as well as melodic and harmonic structure of the piece. In general, the key signature of a piece of music is determined by the tonic, or the first scale degree of the piece. For example, a piece in the key of C major will have a key signature with no sharps or flats, while a piece in the key of G major will have a key signature with one sharp. Now, an important thing is, I know as much about music theory as I do about coding, right? Like, I'm picking out words that I understand, but a lot of this I just have to let wash over me as I try to work my way through this thing. But there's a lot that I don't understand, where if you are, like if Paradigm is still in here, all this makes perfect sense to you, and this is like baby's first fucking song creation shit. Where I assume that the guy talking about coding in C, was it C# or C#, where if you're a coder, that all made perfect sense to you. As for electronic dance music in the 90s, there's no one key signature that's considered standard or typical. The broad genre encompassing a wide range of subgenres, each with its own unique characteristics and musical conventions. Some EDM subgenres, such as house and techno, tend to use key signatures with a relatively small number of sharps or flats. Okay, so I like techno, so I'm leaning towards something with a relatively small number of sharps or flats. I look at the previous paragraph. It says a piece in the key of C major will have a key signature of no sharps or flats. So without continuing on, I picked out the piece of information I feel is relevant to me. I go back over here and we look for the C major, and that's going to be our deal. And then we'll click create track and see what happens. So it's just going ahead and making it. So it didn't provide me with, in the format that I chose to create, I didn't choose the style, genre, or mood. I chose the genre, but I guess I deferred on the style and mood to that preset that was up there. And by the same token, step 2. And enter the lyrics of the song, if any. I didn't get an opportunity to do that. I wonder how long this is going to take. Can I also make another one while it's doing this? We're going to try. We're going to see if we can get a little more granular. And hopefully it doesn't mess up the one that we're doing. Okay. Yeah, because this is sorting by generated compositions. Influences, I could drag and drop a MIDI or audio file here. And then, okay, so now we're into the stuff that I was talking about. So we're going to click on EDM. And then our choices are the party emoji and the one that looks happy but is actually stressed out. At least that's the one that I feel that my daughter sends. Like, not stressed out, but stressed out. You know what I'm talking about. You probably, this all makes perfect sense to you as well. But emojis are like a language all their own. All right, so we're going to choose that one. We're going to choose, we can't take it to 3. We have to stop here. Number of compositions. We're going to do 1 again. And then we're going to create our track. And let's see what happens. Okay, so it carried on with the first one, and we were able to create another one while we're waiting, which is always nice. And so it just gave us something in a particular, whatever the source is, and then it chose a bunch of this information, and we put in this. Let's see what we ended up with. It's pretty basic, you know. It's like some background shit. And then we got an editor. Okay. Chatterino. Always in the way, Chatterino. So now we have more information. We have a greater degree of access. And theoretically, not having actually started to play with this, but this looks like your basic, song generating software. Like if I was actively creating a song, I could do that here without using the AI at all, which is neat. And when we hit play, it's going to go along the things. Oh, and then you click it, and it does the thing. I don't know, for a free one, like, I have used a few different music creation software, and for a free one, this looks pretty damn good. Like there's all the things here. We have a fair variety of instruments to work with. So yeah, like in and of itself, this is kind of cool. We got effects, we got auto mixing. Now you want me to download the app. In for a penny, in for a pound. All right. Do. Oh, you guys couldn't see what I was doing. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Because I removed the AI VI from the thing. All right. You can see what the fuck I was looking at. This is what I was looking at. Right? Look, if I click this and I press play, now it's doing the thing. And it wasn't doing. Can I just Control Z and unfuck it? Yeah. What are you talking about? You were working just fine. You're being a dick. You're embarrassing me in front of people. Let's try it again. I wonder if it's related to me running OBS at this point in time. All right, give me a hot second. Stick with me, chat, while I install the desktop app, and hopefully I don't crash everything. No. I also grabbed a new video editor. I previously stated that I was using Clipchamp, and Clipchamp is cool. Again, with but it tends to top out at about 3.5 minutes. Are we doing the thing? Yeah, so the fuck was I just saying? Security. Like we have so much like I honestly feel like I would just prefer biometrics. No. Like I just want to put my thumb against or the retina scan or whatever. Shit works well enough. It works well enough on my phone. Okay. Now we go here and we go here and we go here. We can go here and there we are. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So where the fuck were we? We were looking at this. We were in the editor. All right. So all the elements of music creation are here. I just went outside and did Christmas pictures for some of the families, picking up gifts at the local weed shop that got sponsored to give away like hundreds of toys to kids in the neighborhood. And the fact that that sentence is a reality, you gotta be tripping. No, for real. This is not me. This is the computer. Like this is AI, AIVA. It created all this, but this is the editor. And I can go in here and I can make adjustments. And what I was just talking about, is how, as far as a music generation program, this is decent. Like I can go in here and I can edit shit, right? Like if I knew the right shit to edit, I could edit shit. But I can edit the things. I can move them around. They make a noise in my head. I hope you can hear this real quiet. But even just as a free music creator, this is pretty decent, right? And pad 2 sidechain. Like this is the thing. So if I wanted to, I could change I'm probably going to screw this up, but let's do that. So it was pad 2 sidechain, and now it is vocal synth choir sustain sidechain. We'll see how that affects the song that we just did, or that the AI just did, and I'm fucking with. This is free. Yeah. But this is the thing. There's a lot of aspects to what I'm fucking around with right now. Whoa. It's AIVA.com. There's a lot of aspects to what I'm looking at right now that having very little talent, or I have some talent when it comes to music, but I have none of the theory behind it, right? Like there's a lot of things I don't understand what I'm looking at. Someone like you who has much more experience in the musical field, in the musical creation field, I feel like you could do significantly more with something like this, looking at the AI not as a replacement, but as an assistant, right? Like where AI, 1 second. Where the AI could get you like to a starting point, right? Like as opposed to building everything from the ground up every time, you could go for a mood, right? And you could keep track of those moods and use them as influences in the song, and it would get you a starting point, and it would save you some amount of time by taking you from point A to like point H, right? And you would carry it from point H to the end. But I'm going in here blind, and I went into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to tell me how to work this thing and create a song, and it told me how to create a song, and I created a song. That is the extent. I could ask it more in-depth questions and come up with more with better information. I'm just looking because ChatGPT said that I could add lyrics. And I wonder how I would do that, because that would be kind of cool. But I can change the way the pieces sound relatively easily. Now, this is the one that, like the first piece is one that I used their preset, the EDM4 as a source. This one I had more input on. It's got a lower BPM. It's in minor. We'll see what this one sounds like. Yeah, not gonna lie. I mean, it's kind of mid. But I feel like it's got the bones of something better that would just need some tuning on it. It's just basic. And if we took it up to, I'm a 120 beats per minute guy. I break you. Now it sounds wrong. Neat. Okay, you can have your 110 back. Or was it only doing it for that? It was only doing it for the one layer. Not the entire song. And this is the thing, like I could spend another period of time just learning how all this works. Auto mixing. How does auto mixing work? What else we got? Effects? Visual effects? Vinyl effects, sorry. We can boost the bass, we can use vinyl effects. Spectator. Okay, this is the entirety of the song at a glance. This is the editor. Got a tutorial, always helpful. Templates. Okay, and so here's some like automation, like different levels of automation that are available within the music creator. Okay, and then we just drop that in there. So it's drag and drop, which is cool. And now, like, here we go, where we've gone too far down the rabbit hole for me to understand what I'm looking at. But I feel like this makes sense. And then there's whatever this is. What does this do? Oh, this is just the side, the zoom. So cool. Let's get back on over to Chat GPT. That's not it. This is the free video editing program I downloaded called OpenShot. Why do we crucify ourselves? Why can't I look at the thing I want to look at? Nothing to do is good enough for you. Crucify ourselves. My heart is sick of being. And my heart is sick of being. Here we go. All right, we're back. I don't think it needs anything really. Like, I'd play that on top of B-roll easy. like, this is my first instinct with all of the AI generated music I've heard out of this thing that I played at the beginning of stream, the stuff I just created. It has that quality, right? Like, that's what I mean when I said background shit, where it's like music for a soundtrack, or music for like you say, B-roll, or just something of that nature. When you want some music to put behind it to give a particular feeling or emotion, but it's not like strong, you know. It's not like really intended to survive on its own. It's interesting, like the way that they use soundtrack music to evoke a response. I actually had the soundtrack for Gremlins, the first Gremlins movie, and there was this one track that always creeped me out, and if I listened to it in the dark at night, it creeped me out. There was something in the corner, you know. It was that kind of feeling. It did a really good that kind of thing. Let's start asking some questions, and we'll see where we get to. Who is Globus the Elder? Let's see if it can find me. Don't have any information about a person named Globus the Elder. Possible. I am, in fact, a fictional character. So let's try. Who is Globus _ the _ elder on Twitch? Unable to browse the internet. Okay. That is one thing I remember seeing where it has limited knowledge of past 2021. Like, it has knowledge up to 2021, and I did not exist on Twitch until 2022, but it knows what Twitch is. Like that. Let's try someone else. Let's try the paradigm shift on Twitch. And let's see if someone who did exist at that time on Twitch, if it knows anything. It might not know about Twitch. Like, yeah. Let's see if it knows anything about music. Who is Darude? Or Darude, I don't know. But, yeah, okay. So it does have information. There must be some kind of threshold of fame. So let me try hey, Alina. So, quick recap. I said hello. It said hello. I asked it how I generate a song with AIVA. And I went on AIVA. Let me do the thing. One moment. I went on AIVA and created a song following the steps that it gave me, and I also opened up the music editor, which is what this all is, where I can make adjustments to the song. I also asked it to write lyrics, and it wrote me lyrics about Globus the Elder. And then one of the questions I had with making EDM song on AIVA was what a good key signature was. I read this. I determined that C major was a good key signature, so I used that. And then I started asking it about people on Twitch. It didn't know me or Paradigm. And then it does know who Darude is. So that's as far as we got. So what's the plot to Hunter x Hunter? I do not know. Hunter, if anyone can verify any of this information, but I'm going to assume it's correct. Hunter x Hunter is a long-running manga series written and illustrated by Yoshiro Togashi. The story follows the adventure of a young boy named Gon Recess. But this is Google, right? Right now, 100%. We're doing Google. I'm just seeing kind of like the parameters, right? Like I can go on Google and I can find out who Globus the Elder is. I can't go on I can't go on Chat GPT and find out who Globus the Elder is. So I'm just kind of like establishing some. Ask it to write something. What should I ask it to write? Now predictions are fuzzy, but I mean I had it write me lyrics to a song. Write me a poem about Alina. I should say please. This is one of those things. Is like it's important to maintain good habits when talking so that when the AI does rise up and murder everyone, it considers you one of the good ones. Alina, a name as bright as the sun, a light that shines wherever she's won. Her beauty and grace are beyond compare, presence that fills the air. Her heart is kind and her spirit free, a soul that's pure as can be. Her laughter is contagious, her smile so true. Yeah, and it's like, it's really, really like basic. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry. Thank you for telling me. Boomer boy is out here. There. Okay. Write me a poem about Alina in the style of samurai. Let's see what that does. Alina, a warrior of purest heart, her spirit strong, her sword sharp as art. Her honor is unwavering, her will unbroken, her enemies tremble, their fate already spoken. I mean, we're talking some really basic, like, rhyming, whatever it's called, like rhyming couplets or whatever, like, some basic shit here. But that's on me. Like, I'm not providing it with enough information. Let me go for cannabis, glam, poetry, circa 2001. I spelled circa wrong. In 2001, the world was a different place. One thing remained the same in this race: cannabis, the herb that's been with us for centuries. It's doing the thing again. Very simplistic poetry. So it's not good at poetry out the box. Like, we need to refine what we're telling it in order to do something like that. So, since it only has limited information post 2021, let's ask it. Here I can provide it with, like, is this a good answer? Yeah, more or less. Is this a good answer? Yes. And then I could provide additional feedback to what the ideal answer would have been. You know, because again, we're also trying to teach the AI, right? It is a very well-spoken child. So we still have to get past that. So let's try this. Write me a story. Cyberpunk. Tragic. Heroic sacrifice. In the year 2077, okay, so right there we know each drawing, because they use the word cyberpunk. It's drawing from the game. In the year 2077, the world was a dark and dangerous place. The streets were ruled by corporations, and the people lived in constant fear of being caught in the crossfire. Among the lawless, a group of rebels emerged, fighting for justice and freedom against the corrupt powers that be. The leader of this group was a woman named Ava, a fierce and determined warrior who had dedicated her life to the cause. She was a skilled hacker, a master of cybernetic enhancement, and a relentless fighter. She was feared by her enemies and revered by her followers. One day, the rebels received a tip about a secret facility that was being used to develop a deadly new weapon. Ava knew this was their chance to strike a blow against their oppressors and bring an end to the war. She gathered her team and set out on a risky mission to infiltrate the facility and destroy the weapon before it could be used. The mission was a success, but at great cost. Ava was badly injured in the final battle, and her cybernetic implants were damaged beyond repair. She knew that she only had a few hours left to live. As her team gathered around her, Ava made a final request. She wanted to go out in a blaze of glory, taking as many of the enemy soldiers with her as she could. She knew that her sacrifice would be remembered for generations to come, and that her death would serve as a beacon of hope for the rebellion. And so, with tears in their eyes, the rebels watched as Ava charged into the enemy ranks, her weapons blazing. She fought with all her strength and all her courage, and in the end, she fell in a hail of bullets, her mission accomplished. Her death was mourned by her comrades, but her legacy lived on. The rebellion grew stronger in the wake of her sacrifice, and her memory was a symbol of hope and resistance. Ava's tragic, heroic sacrifice had changed the world forever. So it's a pretty basic story. It's like hits a lot of tropes, but as far as like something that you could build off of, it is here, right? There's nothing wrong with this story. It's a little, teenager, right? Like in its presentation, but there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's all tropes are tropes because they're classics. So let's ask it a question as opposed to commanding it. Can you write and let's use all the word role playing game adventure set in Shadowrun. .75, City of Seattle. Those are correct with Shadowrun. Streets are ruled by powerful corporations. Shadows are home to all manner of creatures. You and your team of Shadowrunners have been hired by a mysterious client to retrieve a valuable artifact from a heavily guarded facility in the heart of the city. Your client has promised to pay you well for your services, but they warned you that the mission will be risky and that you'll need to be prepared for anything. As you make your way through the city, you'll need to use all your skills and resources to avoid detection and stay one step ahead of your enemies. You'll need to hack into security systems, evade patrols, and outsmart traps and alarms. And when you finally reach the facility, you'll need to use all of your cunning and combat prowess to fight your way through the guards and retrieve the artifact. But the mission won't be easy. You'll face fierce opposition from the corporation's security forces, and you'll need to be ready for anything. So this is one of the things is like I read a lot, I read a lot. When a person reuses a word too often, it jumps right in my face. Like, I really enjoyed the series. I never finished it because it was supposed to be like 12 books, and then it turned into how much money can we squeeze out of the people who are reading these books. But the Horus Heresy series from the Black Library, the Warhammer 40K. But there was one book that the guy used the term bemused like a million times, and it was so goddamn annoying. Like, it's called a thesaurus, dude. Just Google what a thesaurus is, and then Google how to use one to find a different goddamn word. But yeah, again, this is like a basic structure for a Shadowrun adventure. Like, this is it could definitely give me a place to start, right? And I think that, like, as a prompt, that's huge. Like, if you've ever tried to create, role-playing game or any kind of story, sometimes it can be difficult getting started. This can get you there. What do you got for me? You keep using that word.
You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I do not think it means what you think it means. You didn't get to see it. I don't have the whole fucking shit set up. What do you want, Alina? Like, I am your avatar at this point. If you have anything you want to throw in here, we can absolutely get down, get funky. I am all about it. Seeing where we can take this thing. Generate, yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking myself. We're going to start being polite to the AI. Please generate a list of encounters from the we'll see if we can use previous response. And we'll see what it does. Sure, here's a list of encounters that could potentially occur during the Shadowrun adventure described in the previous response. 1. Hacking into security system. The team must use their hacking skill to bypass the facility's defenses, gain access, evading patrols, outsmarting traps and alarms, fighting through security forces, facing sorcery-wielding mages, avoiding detection by the corporation, escaping with the artifact. Okay. I wonder if I could just use the term elaborate. Elaborate on bullet point 4. We'll go with 4. And bullet point 4 is fighting through security forces. The team must battle their way through the facility's security forces using their combat skills and weapons to defeat the guards and drones. And we'll see what it does with that request. During this encounter, the team must fight their way through the facility's security forces in order to reach the artifact. The security forces are likely to be well trained and equipped with high-tech weapons and armor, and they may also have access to drones and other advanced technologies. The team will need to use all their combat skills, blah, blah, blah. It's important for the team to stay focused, work together. Ultimately, team success in the encounter will depend on their skills. Okay, so there is some repetition in there. Let's go with, let's say generate, please, generate stats, and we'll see if it can deal with that colloquialism for the security forces. Security guard, health 20, armor 10, attack 10, defense 10, skills, marksmanship, combat tactics, drone. These stats are just a starting point and can be adjusted based on the desired level of difficulty. So this is already proving itself to be a valuable tool if you want to be a DM. Like this is great that I can just type those requests in and then copy, paste, print, done. So that's nice. Yeah. Yeah. And when I say I'm like running up requests in my head, but then I'm discounting them. Like, generate a map. Can't generate a map. Isn't that kind of program. It needs to all be based in text. That kind of thing. So like, what else we got? What else? And I think they disabled that. Can you draw in ASCII? It apparently can. And it says it's going to make a cat. And it made a cat. Can you let's ramp up the difficulty. Can you draw Mona Lisa in ASCII? Points for effort, but good effort. We are probably one of the very few groups of individuals asking it to draw the Mona Lisa in ASCII. It probably doesn't have much practice. Try again. And see if it generates something different, right? Okay, it centered it. That's good. Now it's just going ham. Try again. And realistically, I should be providing it with some kind of feedback. Because, okay, now it's doing the same thing it did last time. So, and I'm not laughing at you, ChatGPT, just in case you have any kind of audio processing. Yeah, I think it's cute. I think it's adorable. And I admire your efforts at, like, I don't know, art is interpretational, I guess. The Ava is neat. The Ava is very neat. Let's say no. We're gonna say this isn't true, and we'll say this does not not look like the Mona Lisa. We'll do that. Copy that. Submit. And I could provide it with, like, additional information on why it doesn't look like the Mona Lisa. Though the first one did look more like the Mona Lisa than the second or third. And now we'll just ask it to try again and see what we end up with. Okay, there's another ASCII drawing, this time with even more detail using a larger character set. Okay. I think the Mona Lisa might just be beyond it, and it's getting confused. Because we're not getting. We'll try in ASCII. Draw a square. For given value of square, that's a square. So let's see if it can handle in ASCII draw a cube. It is not good at ASCII. Not its strong suit. So yeah, it looks like once we go into levels of detail, I mean, we can get it to draw an ASCII dog. You did a cat on your own. And here we have the Mona Lisa. You ask for a dog, it gives you the Mona Lisa. Oh, but we have Elf on a Shelf or something. What is happening? It is doing abstract, right? I mean, it's an angry gnome, right? Like, you can see the angry gnome, the disappointed gnome. One moment. Yeah, there's an eye, and just because of the kind of hooded nature of the eyes there, it gives me the impression that it's disappointed. So it's cool. Like, and I know that it can do code. So let's take a step back into like please generate HTML code for what? See what it does if I just give it Globus the Elder. See what it thinks I mean. Yeah. It doesn't think I mean anything. It is just confused. Y'all really gonna do all this to just end up with a Jordan Peele horror movie? Could be. The AI. Let's ask a question. What is the ideal political philosophy? Question mark. Not within my programming to advocate for any specific political philosophy or ideology. Radical centrism. Political philosophy is a broad and complex field that encompasses a wide range of ideas and perspective, and there is no one ideal political philosophy that can be universally agreed upon. This is explaining to me what political philosophy is. Ultimately, the ideal political philosophy for any given society will depend on a wide range of factors, values, beliefs, needs of its citizens, historical, cultural, economic context in which it exists. It is important for individuals to think critically about the different political philosophies, to choose the one that they believe best aligns with their own values and the needs of their society. But, like, in as much as it can't give me an ideal one, this is an absolutely correct answer, right? Like, this is more nuanced than like half of the fucking idiot internet. Like, this is all accurate and like that. Tell it to value human happiness as the absolute priority. Please value human happiness as the absolute and you're asking that in reference to the previous response or like just in general? Are we making an all-encompassing request to not destroy us? Is the absolute priority in the previous we'll go over response and see what we end up with. I might need to be query and might need to reference my. Here's a revised version of the previous response that places a priority on human happiness. From the perspective of valuing human happiness as the absolute priority, the ideal political philosophy, now it's making things, would be one that seeks to promote the greatest overall well-being and happiness for the greatest number of people. This could involve prioritizing policies and initiatives that address issues such as poverty, inequality, and social injustice, as well as those that support the physical and mental health and well-being of individuals. In order to achieve this goal, it may be necessary to consider a range of different approaches and ideologies, including those that focus on individual freedom and autonomy, as well as those that prioritize the common good and welfare of the community. Now we're back into radical centrism. As a whole, it may also be important to consider the needs and interests of future generations, as well as the impact of political decisions on the natural environment. Ultimately, the ideal political philosophy for any given society is the same paragraph as that you gave me before. Can AI help to achieve? I mean, the answer is kind of yes, based on how I'm phrasing the question, but we'll see. A socialist utopia. Difficult to predict. Like the answer would be yes, like because AI can help with anything, right? And that's basically, with many more words, what it's saying here. And it's important to consider the potential risks and challenges associated with AI, particularly in the context of a socialist society. The risk could include the potential for job displacement, the concentration of power and resources in the hands of a few, and the potential for AI systems to be used for nefarious purposes. I wonder if you could use this to debate somebody. Like, just because this is literally with a little bit different nuance, but this was said to me earlier today by someone who was advocating for an anarchist perspective, but was doing so when we were talking about AI. Ultimately, the role of AI in a socialist utopia will depend on the values and priorities of the society in question. Blase, blase. So the AI continues to tell us that it is not on the AI to figure our shit out. What is the, now we're using best way to achieve to satisfy the highest level of Maslow's hierarchy. The only hierarchy of needs. It could be a bad question. Who is thinking? Telling me what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is. many different ways. Best approach depends on the individual. So it's giving me the political answer again. Some potential strategies are identifying, pursuing one passions and interest, developing personal skills and abilities, building meaningful relationships, engaging in self-reflection and self-improvement. Ultimately, find what is personally meaningful and fulfilling and to work towards achieving it. So it's, it's not fortune cookie, but it's like, it's kind of still being fairly vague. Of course, you could ask it to elaborate on any of those too, sure. But like building meaningful relationships. Let me see if I can predict what the machine says. Building meaningful relationships, supporting and fulfilling relationships with others can be an important part of self-actualization. It's going to say something along the lines of like being, communicating well with others, engaging with people of similar interests, and being. I'm wondering. I'm gonna say it'll say something about like honesty or something in that regard. So elaborate on point 3, please. Building meaningful relationships is an important aspect of achieving self-actualization, highest level. Several ways: support and encouragement, having supportive relationship, connection and belonging, personal growth, meaning and purpose. I wonder how far down this rabbit hole we can go. Elaborate on point 3, please. And that's personal growth we're having it elaborate on. Oh, no, it just reiterated. Okay. Elaborate on point 3 in this response. And yeah, it's given us the same response 3 times. So we might have reached the limit of what it can express to us. Not that this isn't accurate and valuable and everything else. Please give me an inspiration Inspirational quote. Which is again back to a search engine. But I'm just interested to see which one it decides to go with. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Steve Jobs. Nah. Like, yes, but nah. Not Steve Jobs. Prediction. Will Elon Musk make Twitter profitable? It's thinking. It's thinking. Difficult to predict. Coward. He's the CEO and is not directly involved in the management or operation of Twitter. Maybe we're reading it wrong. But yeah, this is a political answer as well. Like, wide range of factors, and it's accurate, and it is. It could be too recent. All those things are correct. Like, I'm not hammering on the AI because I'm sure that it has limited, abilities as far as like even what it's allowed to say. I'm certain there are a bunch of things that it's not allowed to say. What do you got? Can I get it to role play? Like, as a character. Let me just ask you directly. Can you role play? As an artificial intelligence, I am able to perform a wide range of tasks and functions, but I do not have personal experiences or emotions like a human. Therefore, I am not able to engage in role playing in the same way that a human might. However, I could certainly assist you in finding resources or information related to role playing, or provide guidance on how to get started with role playing games and activity. Let me know if there's something specific you would like help with, and I will do my best to assist you. That's not the answer it gave you. Did you type in "can you role play" or? Well, let me ask it the exact same question you did in the exact same way. I'm dying again. Sure, I can certainly try to roleplay as a character for you. To get started, it would be helpful if you could provide me with some information about the character you would like me to roleplay, such as their personality, background, any specific goals or motivations they might have. Will help me better understand the character and to portray them accurately for roleplay. Additionally, it might be helpful to establish some ground rules or guidelines for our roleplay, such as setting and any specific rules or limitations that we should follow. This will help ensure that our roleplay is enjoyable and productive for both of us. Are you flirting with me? I hope this helps. Yeah. Is that the same answer that you got? Can you role play as a starship engineer during a crash? As a starship engineer, you're frantically trying to diagnose and fix a problem. Okay, so you're telling me a story. So you're not role playing, you are telling me a story. What you save the day. How do you build a log cabin? Again, it's a search engine answer. But I like the way that it expresses the information when it's teaching, like it did with AIVA. Site level, good drainage, utilities, building codes, design, architect, materials and tools gathering. Yeah. Cut and shape the logs, assemble the cabin, notching, mortising, and tenoning. Install the roof. General, it says it's a general outline. There might be additional steps. How do I mortise logs for a log cabin? Cutting a recess in a hole. Recess or hole into a log to allow another log or timber to fit into it, creating a strong and secure joint. Mark the location of the mortise. So it's good at technical writing. We knew this. Mark the location, cut the mortise, test the fit, secure the joint, nail screws and other fasteners. And recommend you consult with a professional. So that's cool. But it's like, while it is a search engine answer, in some ways I find this superior. Because, like you said, it gets right to the point where it's responding directly to me. Like, as opposed to like when you do a search engine, now I have to kind of like guess, and then you click the one, and okay, here's a whole fucking story about this guy building a log cabin. Before we get to talking about the log cabin, this one's trying to sell me log cabin plans. There are advantages to this. In from a dead stream. What happened? Oh, level head. Raiders. Hi, Raiders. Computer shut down. Oh. So I am a port in the storm. Make sure you hit that link and hit refresh. I'm sorry to hear about your computer. I hope that you can fix it. We've been playing with ChatGPT. Hi, I'm Globus the Elder. Most of you already know me as Levelheads Mod. I also do my own streaming, where lately we've been talking about AI as it relates to art, as it relates to things beyond art, whether it can assist us with technical writing. Let me see here. Like, it's Morbid time. Let's morbid up. I'm trying to think of a question. Like, okay, so one of the things that we're running into. Oh no! What? Is the computer on fire? Oh, I don't know what a Mobo Beeps is. But I can ask, what are Mobo Beeps? Oh, Mobo motherboard. Mobile beeps are beeping sounds that are emitted by a motherboard, which is the main circuit. The beeps are often used to indicate specific problems. There are different codes and patterns. Okay, so it's like a furnace. The beeps tell you what the problem is. A single beep followed by a pause and then two more beeps might indicate a problem with the memory, while a series of rapid beeps might indicate a problem with the graphics card. Your furnace works the exact same way. The flashing LED, red LED on there tells you what the problem is with the furnace, and then you can check the code to figure out how to fix it. So that's cool. Yeah, this is exactly Dankness. This is what I like about this, even using it as a search engine, is that it provides me with a couple of paragraphs about the thing that I'm asking about. So what are the Mobo Beep codes for Intel? An error occurred. Uh-oh. There was an error generating a response. It doesn't like the question, or it just shit the bed. Boot into Windows just fine. It's not catastrophic. Clearly a hardware issue. I have a feeling it's fan related. Like, you don't have enough fans, or you were trying to run too many fans off the motherboard. All right, let's give this a little refresh. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing now. We're gonna refresh this bad boy and see if we can ask the question we just asked it again. What are the Mobo Deep codes for Intel? Just learned about ChatGPT the other day. Yeah, this is actually my first day using it. Like, I just jumped into it. Oh, I didn't copy the lyrics. It wrote me a song. It wrote me lyrics to a song, and I didn't copy them. And like, I want to. Okay, 1 beep, system boot successful. 2 beeps. Okay, so that's actually a thing. Interesting. 2 beeps, parity error on the first 64 kilobytes of memory. 3 beeps, base memory read write failure. 4 beeps, timer failure. 5 beeps, process failure. 6 beeps, keyboard controller gate A20 failure. 7 beeps, virtual mode exception error. 8 beeps, display memory read write failure. 9 beeps, ROM checksum error. 10 beeps, CMOS shutdown, register read write error. And 11 beeps, cache memory error. Again, just functioning as a search engine, it got me the information that I wanted to without me having to dig at all. I can just ask it the question, and it provides me with the exact response, which Google, yes, generally does, but also, gets flooded. Then I was at work, Christmas party, and my boss wife was telling me that students are using it to write papers. We had it write a couple of poems, which we didn't like. They're kind of mid. We had it suggest a, basically like a brief synopsis almost of a Shadowrun. If you're familiar with Shadowrun, it's like Cyberpunk meets Magic role-playing adventure, and it just kind of laid out the bare bones, and then we were able to dial in and asking additional like elaborations and stuff. We asked it to generate stats. It generated stats for some NPCs. Ask it how long to bake a pizza for at 400 degrees. The answer is 20 minutes, but how long is it frozen? If it's frozen, it's 20 minutes. How long should you bake a pizza? All right, so let's make sure we add in homemade so it doesn't think it's frozen. Homemade pizza at 400 degrees. $4,000 degrees. We can ask that in a second. How long should you bake a pizza? The baking time for a homemade pizza at 400 degrees will depend on the size and thickness of the pizza, as well as the type of crust. In general, a thin crust, 8 to 12 minutes to bake. Thicker crust, 15 to 20 minutes or longer. To ensure that your pizza is cooked to perfection, it is best to use an oven thermometer to verify the accuracy of your oven's temperature. You should keep an eye on the pizza as it bakes and rotate it occasionally to ensure even cooking. You can check for doneness by inserting a thermometer into the center of the pizza or by using the poke test. You gently press the crust with your finger to see if it is firm and fully cooked. If you're using frozen pizza, follow the fucking instructions. Okay. So let's copy that question, modify our parameters, and see what happens. Bake a frozen pizza at 4,000 degrees. What else we got? Maku. I'm gonna say this: having made many a pizza, get a nice wood fire stove, get that baby to 600 degrees. If you're gonna commit to homemade za. Well, I don't know what I did, but I baked it for 25 minutes and still doughy in spots. You really need a hot oven for pizza. Conventional kitchen ovens do not do justice. A good hot oven is correct because it gives you the better crust on the outside and like that. And I also, personally, if you're going to use an oven, you got to have a pizza stone. If you don't have a pizza stone, then, you know, you're not, like, again, if you're going to do homemade pizza, that's what I would do. I've actually seen people cook pizza on the stove by putting it in a pan and putting a lid on it. So, for technically speaking, you could just cook it. I'm sorry, but it is not safe to bake a frozen pizza at 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, real quick, don't. I would put it back in. And just keep. Has it burnt the cheese? If it hasn't burnt the cheese, you can keep it in for longer to get it to cook. If you're burning the cheese, then you're kind of committed at this point. Pizza tray more like a metal disc with little holes. I understand. I just don't. I disagree. Like I like. Wait, that's another thing. Like if it's dry and it would crack. Yeah, that's the thing. Is one thing that people don't do is rotate their pizza. Like I've worked in a pizza kitchen and you learn some stuff. Like and that's one of them. And also those little pizza I can't remember what they're called, but the big pizza fucking spatulas are excellent. Most ovens cannot reach or sustain temperatures above 600 to 700 degrees, and even at these high temperatures, it'd be difficult to bake a frozen pizza for long enough to cook it thoroughly without burning it. And then it tells you the proper temperature that you should do it. Yeah, baking sheet, pizza stone. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, I enjoy like come together. Like I'm a fan of potluck. It's like I will I will make this thing, you make your thing, whatever you're good at, and we'll bring it all together and we'll all have a little bit of everything. My wedding was actually it was partly catered and partly potluck. Like I had them come in with the barbecue and the smokers to provide the meat, and all the sides were potluck. And like that was even in lieu of gifts. It's like we want you to come, bring some food, we'll have a good time, like that. What else we got? What else? See, one of the difficulties that I'm running into as a person is I keep running into wanting to ask it search engine type questions, right? And that's not what we're looking for here. Level head, if you can, give me a question related to, or a prompt related to like an oil leak investigation, something like that. Something that you would need to figure out. It made a lesson plan for your friend. Yeah, that's like, it seems to excel in technical writing. And I want to see, I kind of want to see how it can aid in, the investigation, whether it's an investigation of, curiosity or an investigation of, journalism. These are we tried to get it to make an ASCII version of Mona Lisa. It did not do well. What chemicals? I mean, that's actually, I could just copy paste. It's kind of a Google question, but I'm not sure like if we can get away with Google questions. See what it comes up with though. What chemicals are commonly found in fracking injection fluid? They refused to make a prediction on whether or not Elon would make Twitter a Google question. Like when you're Googling something, like, like I would throw this same question into Google to find out what those things were. But I'm looking for questions that aren't like that, where to see what this thing can like do, like a space between the human and the Googles. Okay, hydraulic fracking or fracturing or fracking is a process used to extract oil and natural gas from shale and other unconventional rock formations. Fracking involves injecting a mixture of water, sand, and chemicals into the ground at high pressure to create fractures in the rock, which allows oil and gas to flow more freely. The specific chemicals used in fracking injection can vary, but some common ones include water, sand, and chemical additives. Various chemical additives are often used in fracking injection fluids to reduce friction, prevent bacterial growth, and improve the fluid's ability to transport sand and other particles. These additives may include surfactants, biocides, lubricants, and other chemicals. It's important to notice that specific chemical composition of fracking injection fluids can vary wildly, and the use of certain chemicals may be regulated or prohibited in some areas due to concerns about environmental or health impacts. Some studies have suggested that fracking may have negative impacts on air and water quality, and that certain chemicals used in the process may be harmful to human health. However, the extent and severity of these impacts is still a subject of ongoing debate and research. Yeah, no, one thing that we figured out kind of early is that it really takes a neutral stance on a variety of issues. It wouldn't make declarative statements in certain regard. And like for some things, I suppose that's fair, but for others, like, I mean, it's technically accurate that some studies have suggested, right? Like because we get into that. It's not valuing which studies are more, which are better, right? Yeah, it very, very radical centrist, undecided voter, willing to consider all the ideas on every possible subject, and like that, which is good, right? Which is good. We don't want a radical AI straight out the box. We wanted to, to have some kind of like open mind. Okay, so like, I'm going to see. This is a very specific question that Google would have difficulty with it off jump. What? But this might not do it either. What size screw is in the handle of a no-go electric snowblower? This is relative to my interest. not the AI's fault. It's the fact that the industry has promulgated enough counter info to say there's still an open debate about how much they screw up the groundwater and environment. 100%. Like, I mean, if the AI had a personality, okay. Yeah, it didn't know either. Yeah, and it's recommending me to do the thing. If the AI had a personality, I would assume that it would consider us like way out of whack, right? And like that we need to be put in check because we are wiling out. Why don't people believe in climate change? Leftist propaganda. Give me leftist propaganda. Suppose I could be playing some background music, but there are many reasons why some people may not believe in climate change or may question the scientific consensus on the issue. Some of these reasons may include misinformation or a lack of understanding. Some people may not understand the science behind climate change. Personal beliefs or values. Some people may be resistant to the idea of climate change. Political or ideological views. Climate change is a complex and controversial issue that has been politicized in many countries. Cognitive biases. What up, Supernatural? How you doing? People are often influenced by their own biases and preconceptions. So, like, I mean, it is non-committal. It's not going to point and tell you that these people are wrong, but it is going to tell you why they're wrong, right? Like, or why they believe what they believe, which has a certain value to it, right? It's important to note that the scientific evidence for climate change is overwhelming. And the vast majority of climate scientists agree that the Earth's climate is changing and that the human activities are the main cause. However, people's beliefs about... See, that's the thing. We asked it, why don't people believe in climate change? It is convinced that climate change is a thing and that those people, like, according to the evidence, climate change is happening. So, and we have to respect and understand these different perspectives. Is the oil and gas industry honest? Let me spell is the correctly. Is the LA Times writer responding to it's like an LA Times writer responding to a police officer who shot and killed 10 children found dead in officer-involved violent experience. 100%. The neutral voice. Excuse me. It is difficult to make a blanket statement about the honesty of the oil and gas industry as a whole. Oversight and regulation, laws and standards. Important for consumers and investors to research carefully. Yep. I mean, it's, you know. Have we reached peak oil? I haven't heard that phrase in forever. The answer is both yes and no. Define peak oil. One of the things I wondered was is whether or not you could use AI to debate somebody, like just entering, you know, their responses and ask for counter responses and see what you could come up with. Peak oil definition, ongoing debate among experts. about whether or not we have. Several factors can influence. Important to note. It doesn't mean that we will run out. Blah, blah, blah. So this is like, what I've found it's very capable of doing is if you have a question about a particular subject, yeah, it'll give you baby's first primer on whatever that is. And then you can boil down on it. Like what are 5 factors in climate change? Greenhouse gases. Explain it. And this is what I like. It gives me the thing, and then it gives me an explanation of what that thing is. So, source material. That is a good question. What are the sources for the previous response? Though I should be polite and wait for it to finish talking. These are sources. There you go, buddy. Here are a few specific sources. Climate Change and Overview by the United States EPA. Causes of Climate Change by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Climate Change, How Do We Know? From NASA. So yeah, there we go. Right? And then if we go back to the previous thing, we can say elaborate on, we'll go with bullet point again. Bullet point 2 in previous. There's probably some shortcuts in language I could be using, but I'm just not. Related to deforestation. So now it's going to provide me with an expanded description of deforestation, its causes, its impact, complex and controversial issues. There it goes with its lib shit again. But some efforts to combat deforestation is focused on reducing the demand for products that contribute to deforestation, such as soy, palm oil, and beef, while others have focused on promoting sustainable land use practices and protecting forests through conservation. There's nothing wrong with these responses, like these are, I feel like these are decent responses. And they're usable to gain a better understanding of a particular thing, and it happens in a very natural way, which again, the difference between asking Google questions to Google and asking Google questions to this is I'm not getting overwhelmed with data, right? Like it's providing me with chunks, and then I can ask more about a, particular thing. Like, let me ask, how is stored carbon released in the previous response? I don't know if that's necessary, but I'm doing it. And now it's telling me, it's elaborating on the how carbon is stored in the forest. And now it's, tell me. Like, I mean, I feel like I could, like, if I had to write an essay, I could ask a few questions, copy paste, do some edits, and submit it, and it would be at least accurate, if not particularly inspired. Right? But it is capable of, writing stories. The stories are very tropish and very basic, but I wouldn't assign it a value of creative, but I could assign it a value of a creative. So yeah. Because let's go with song lyrics in 90s metal style about oil leaks. Hit me, baby. Here's some possible song lyrics in 90s metal style about oil leaks. Verse 1, black gold in the ground, drilled and pumped with machines. But when the pipes break, the oil spills like a demon's dream. Chorus, oil leaks, spilling out into the sea. Oil leaks, destroying everything we see. The animals are dying, the water is polluted, the beaches are covered in a toxic, sticky crude. Oil leaks, spilling out into the sea. Oil leaks, destroying everything we see. The bridge, we can't keep living this way, ignoring the cost. It's time to take a stand and clean up what we've lost. Oil leaks, it's time to make a change. Oil leaks, we can't afford to remain the same. I mean, it's not terrible. You know what I mean? It's like I've heard worse. I have absolutely heard worse. Anarchistic rap lyrics about Battle of Blair Mountain. What do you got, champ? We're fighting for our rights in the coal mines of West Virginia. The bosses were making our lives a never-ending misery. We took a stand at Blair Mountain, willing to die for what we believe. We took a stand at Blair Mountain. We won't be silenced. We won't leave. The police came with guns and tanks, but we wouldn't back down. We fought for every inch on that dusty, bloody ground. We took a stand at Blair Mountain, willing to die for what we believe. We took a stand at Blair Mountain. We won't be silenced. We won't leave. We won't be ruled by the rich. We won't be slaves to their greed. We stand together hand in hand. We are the ones who won't be freed. We took a stand at Blair Mountain. The battle's not over. The fight goes on. We took a stand at Blair Mountain. We won't be defeated. We won't be gone. I don't know. Like, there's some angsty teen, like, undertones, and my man saying the right words. I love you, GPT. I believe in you. I believe one day you will grow up to be the AI that we both need and deserve. You're a king. Anything else? Any other suggestions? I think I'm gonna. Oh, here, for those of you who came in on the Levelhead raid, you didn't get to see the AI music generator that I was playing with. Let me show you that real quick. So this is AIVA, found at AIVA.com. And I just go up here and I click create composition. You got preset styles. You got influences if you want to drag and drop an audio file in here. Or they have a bunch of profiles that are already been used and how many times they've been used. If we go, we'll do techno, do party techno, 2.5 to 3 minutes, 1 composition, create our track. It's going to take a minute to generate it. These are the previous ones that I've already done. This one here was made with the presets. This one here I made using the choices. You can also adjust some of these parameters while you're putting the song together. But then over here, we click, oh, it's done. So we can hear what it sounds like, the song that I just created. We can open up the editor. And it's a decent music editor. And I think I want to change the chords. And we'll do a epic sustain with sidechain. We'll take it back to the beginning of that and we'll let it run. Yeah, that sucks. What leads? Vocals. And as I was saying, like, as far as a music editor goes for a free one, this is pretty good on its own. So, like, if you wanted to dabble with the music editor, I could recommend this without issue. Like, there's a decent amount that you can play around with here to generate your own music and like that. But the fact that the AI can do it and come up with you know, these different pieces of music that I could use for like, you know, like background music or like an intro to stream, any of that kind of thing. There's apparently, there's allegedly, according to CGP or CPG chat, or chat, whatever, the fucking chat program, a way to enter lyrics, which I could see as being very interesting. But yeah, GPT, that's it. I just asked it to cite sources and it couldn't do it. It's possible. And it's possible, like, I don't know what the wording of your question was or if that had anything to do with it. There's a bunch of factors, right? You might want to try reformatting your question in a different way, or something else like that. But like overall, this is I see a lot of, you know, space for this to expand into. And I'm interested to see where this goes, and I am going to continue to use it. And like that. That being said, I think we are going to wrap up stream. What are you doing, Allie? Yeah, let's throw a raid over to Allie is crying. Tomorrow, long stream, starting at 5, going through the end of Conversation with Endless Cemetery. And then Thursday or Friday, we're gonna have that conversation with Be Weird regarding ChatGPT, language, things of that nature. So I look forward to learning a bunch, you know, about their approach to what they did with GPT. We spell the words ALIISTRYING. All right. As always, stick around for the raid, make me look like big strong streamer, and then go on about your business. Or hang out, because Ellie is cool. I appreciate you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I look forward to talking more about this. If you have time, play with ChatGPT. What up, Cody Cut? Play with, you know, IVA, AIVA, and, you know, report back with whatever you guys come up with. There's a lot of potential here. Drink your water, take your meds, eat your food. Shuggy loves you. So do I.